Workforce Analytics Summit, and thank you for your presentation, which was an interesting story of a journey that ABN AMRO had with analytics so far. Let me start with asking you, how do you define analytics in your company? You split reporting roles and metrics, analytics and workforce planning. So what is HR analytics for you in the organization?
Okay. For us, HR analytics is different from HR metrics. Metrics is all stuff that we have been doing within HR for a long time, say scorecards, benchmarks, looking at the past and looking at averages and reporting on that, which is very important, is a base function of HR. And as opposed to HR analytics, we view that as combining two data sets or more data sets from either within HR or preferably also with data from the business, combining these and performing statistics on it in order to view or to determine which HR factors have the highest impact on the business outcomes or other HR outcomes. So, for example, metrics would be, we saw that engagement had a rise of 5% last year. And analytics would be, we saw a rise in our employee engagement last year, and it led to a rise in business outcomes such as the amount of products that we sold in that year. So that's a clear distinction that we make.
Between the two, yes. And you also mentioned that workforce planning and analytics are two different processes. So how are they linked?
So the process of workforce planning is basically, we define it basically very broad as everything that has to do with the formation of HR strategy. So that starts with looking at the goals that the business has. So your client, the internal client, the business, has certain goals they want to reach in 1 or 2 or 3 years. And the process of workforce planning is that you take these business goals as a starting point. Then you think about what is then the HR goal we need to reach in 1 or 2 or 3 years according to your business strategy in order to be able to reach those business goals. Then thinking in terms of KPIs, what are the KPIs? So make it smart. What are the KPIs for our HR strategy? And keep on monitoring that. And if necessary, if it turns out that it doesn't work very good, very well, then you need to steer in able to do it differently. So that's our process of workforce planning, and HR analytics can help in that process of workforce planning in 2 ways. The first is that you, in the process of linking HR goals to business goals, that's a very difficult step in the process. I think it's the core step in that process. And a lot of that has to do with experience and intuition for HR managers or business partners to think about those HR goals. But what you can do is that you can look into the data. If you combine the business data with HR data, then you can see which factors, you can see the evidence of which HR factors have the largest impact on that business outcome. So then in that first step of workforce planning, you can integrate HR analytics. And at the end of the process of workforce planning, you can evaluate the activities that you have done in order to reach the HR goals, whether they were effective or not. So that's also where HR analytics creates value for the workforce planning process.
But did the HR analytics actually create foundation for better HR workforce planning, or were they independent processes first and then they are just like communicating and supporting each other?
Okay. Well, they are different processes. You can
have one without
surely
the other.
You can do the one without the other, but in the way I just described, HR analytics can add value to the workforce planning process. But the other way around, you can also very much say, and that's what we've really experienced, that the workforce planning process has a lot of advantages for the HR analytics process, because if you are already at the strategy table with your business and your business partners, you know what the strategically relevant topics and goals are. So that's where you can focus your HR analytics process on, which is a very important step. And at the end of the HR analytics process, when you have done your research and you have determined which HR factors have the highest impact on your business goals, then in the process of workforce planning, which is ending in a strategic people plan, you can put those decisions or those insights from HR analytics, you can put those in a strategic plan and put activities on them, so they are captured in a official plan where you have commitment from your business and from your business partner clients. So a lot of companies are struggling to have their analytical insights turned into real actions, and the workforce planning process, including the people plan, strategic plan, that's a means of ensuring that there are actions taken upon the insights from your analytical research.
It was also very interesting to hear that at ABN AMRO, it's only 2-3 people on your analytics team.
Yeah.
And you outsource a lot of work, you attract external assistance for it. So which parts of the analytics work you are outsourcing, and what are some of the advantages of that approach?
Okay. Well, in the beginning we thought we were going to outsource everything that has to do with the real analytics, so the number crunching, actually performing the research. We outsourced that to a company called Outsourcing in Belgium. And we chose that we, as a small core team of 2 people, act as consultants, taking these insights and bringing them to our clients. And of course, taking the assignments from our clients and bringing them to Outsourcing to perform the research. However, we did encounter or experience very much that we need to be pretty deep into the analytics and able to really give a correct assignment to an outsourced party. And when we received the conclusions from the research back, we really need to understand that. So we dived a little bit deeper into the analytics than that we had foreseen up front. But we really like the collaboration we have now in the organization, because there are large advantages. One of them was when we started, we really wanted to start it quickly, and we didn't want to worry about the quality of the research, and that's why we chose to outsource it, and that has really turned out well. Another advantage of this organization is that a lot of data that is subject to privacy and anonymity restrictions, for example engagement data, we cannot receive individual engagement data because the company that performs the engagement survey for us, they are not allowed to give us that data. But they are allowed to bring that data to a third party, so we can still do the research on individual level for the engagement data, which is a very large advantage. One of the disadvantages is flexibility. So if we have a model researched, and we get the insights and the results, and we see we would like to have a slight adjustment to the model or a large adjustment to the model, then we have to wait again for 2 weeks before we get those results. And well, sometimes flexibility and speed is of importance, and then we are a bit less flexible.
So actually outsourcing it can be one of the shortcuts to analytics for those who want to start it fast. Are there any other tips you could share from the lessons learned? You mentioned some of them were learned hard way. Any tips for those who are just beginning on their journey, maybe 1 or 2 most important things to keep in mind?
Sure. I think the most important one is really think about the skill set for the whole chain of the analytical process, and where you want to allocate that. We chose for the real analytics or for the research statistics outside our company, but basically it doesn't really matter if you put it inside or outside your company, but you need to have them, obviously. A bit less obvious is that you really need consulting skills. You need to bring the results to your client in a way that the client can directly use them and which is insightful for them. And you need to be able to contribute or consult on the strategy if you want to combine workforce planning and analytics, which is very much our tip. So then you need to think about those 2 sets of competences, and well, whether you bring it inside your company or not is, I think, up to you in your environment, but you really need to think where you're going to allocate them. Second tip is I think all our companies are sitting on large amounts of data. Some data is of high quality and some of less, but if you know which is of high quality, you can start tomorrow. And so what we chose to buy the analytical power, the statistical power outside, that allowed us to start within, say, months. So within 1 year we had a very, well, for our country standards, advanced analytics function in our place. We had pretty much also integrated it into our organization. It did help that we already had a large network because we are from an HR background. So within a year we were operational and performing nice researches. And so my tip is don't wait too long ensuring that you have perfect data and that you have all the skills, etc. You can just start and then from there innovate and improve your process.
What's on the map for ABN AMRO for the next year in terms of HR analytics? Are there any specific studies or any processes you want to improve? What's there for you, the priority for this year?
Yeah, we have a couple of points for our dot on horizon for 2015. We really want to make all of our researches that they make it into actions. So we have now a pretty broad coverage of our different divisions that we have done research for, and now we're doing follow-up research. And now if we do follow-up research, it really needs to get into their strategy or into the action plan that they have, because, well, that's eventually what you do it for. So that really has our focus for the next year. We want to improve our analytical capabilities. So together with Agnostics, we're looking at ways to step, for example, from classical regression methods to more machine learning, big data kind of approach. So that's the second one. And the third one is that we're looking at our tooling, because we do have the inflexibility of an external statistical partner, but they are looking at ways, or they already have come up with ways to implement a kind of software that they put our data, they clean our data and they put it in the software, and we will be able ourselves from ABN AMRO, from within ABN AMRO, to do the analysis ourselves, but in a very quick way. So we don't have to be analysts, but we understand what kind of research you can do, and then it's easy, just a few clicks, and we can well, run the models ourselves. So that are the 3 points that we want to reach in 2015, and well, I think now 3 months ahead in this year we're already making large steps, so it's looking good.
Okay, well, good luck with that, and thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.